Welcome to the reunion for Season 2 of the Real Simwives of Willow Creek. I'm your host, Patrick Tarver. This season was definitely one to remember, filled with high-profile events, extravagant cast trips, and of course drama. Friendships were tested, dynamics within the group changed, and the social hierarchy as we know it took a major shift. From shocking leaked story scandals to infidelity rumors to new relationships and everything in between, we're gonna dive into it all. Ladies, welcome. Chelsea, how are we doing?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, thank you.
Miss Summer, that dress is... wow.
You know I'm all about turning heads, Patrick.
The one and only Felicity Rhoads. You ready for today?
Oh, you have no idea.
Hello, Miss Jane Oakford.
Hello to you, sir. Looking quite dapper, I must say.
And the newly single, Evelyn Hampton. You look beautiful.
Thank you, doll. Single and ready to mingle.
First off, from everyone here at Evolve and the Real Simwives of Willow Creek, I'd like to thank our fans for the support. We had a very large number of fan questions, so let's get right into it. One of the more shocking things to see play out this season was the relationship between Chelsea and Summer. From a decade-spanning feud and physical altercations to calling truces and confiding in one another, we received an overwhelming amount of questions about you two. Amanda2131 asks Chelsea and Summer, is your newfound friendship real, and what is the current status of your relationship?
It's really real, and I am grateful for Summer. It's a work in progress for sure, but definitely on the right path.
I would have to agree. And I think that I've gotten to see a side of Chelsea that few Sims get to see, given the circumstances.
She also wants to know what each of you ladies think of this relationship.
I'm happy. I think it's fabulous.
It's definitely strange. But yeah, I'm indifferent, I guess.
I think it's bull to be quite frank.
And you're entitled to your own opinion. Go off, girl.
We'll come back to that. We have a lot to get through, ladies, so we're just going to get started with some rapid-fire questions. This one's coming from RHO World, and it's for Felicity. How do you feel that the election wasn't in your favor? Do you still blame Chelsea?
Well, of course, I was extremely disappointed. I've had many outstanding achievements and have made a difference in Sim Nation as a politician, so becoming the mayor of Willow Creek was going to be a labor of love for me. And yes, sadly I do. She had a major hand in the downward trajectory of my campaign.
Lots of emotions, I understand. Okay, Jane, why didn't you stay true to yourself this season, and why did your tagline have a different personality than you brought this season?
I did stay true to myself this season. And my tagline? I did take control. I made things happen, moved things along.
Girlfriend was working hard to secure her plum bob next season.
You're a bitch. Well, at least one of us made an effort.
Much love, though.
Evelyn. This comes from Amanda2131 also, and she says, with you seeming non-existent this season, how do you feel mentally and physically after the divorce with John is finalized? Did you receive a well-off settlement?
Non-existent? The shade. I guess that's what I get for picking on Jane. And all different emotions. I felt free and it was exhilarating. Then sad because I don't want my boys to have to divide their time between us, but they just want us both to be happy. And let's just say it was very fruitful.
I can just assume it was quite a large number of simoleons. Okay, this one comes from Pregnant W Awkwardness and is for Summer. What exactly did you see Owen doing with Gabrielle? What are your thoughts on Gabrielle?
They just were too close for my liking, but he denies anything and I have to trust him. I don't really want to discuss this, and I think she is a total I am dreading the moment she sits her slimy ass down, so just make sure she's as far away from me as possible.
And we can touch more on that when the friends have joined us a bit later. Okay, this one's gonna be a doozy. Chelsea, James Farquhar 754 wants to know. Chelsea, can you please explain why you spread rumors about your castmates to SMZ?
I don't think it's any secret that this past season I struggled a lot. I felt like everything was moving so fast around me and for the first time that I wasn't in control. It started off as me giving small tidbits of trivial info to SMZ, and it grew into something much darker, and in some twisted way, it made me feel important again. None of it makes sense.
Cut the Chelsea. I've been your best friend for almost 4 decades. I know you. And I know you manipulating the hell out of this situation.
If you can't listen with an open mind, then what's the point of me even saying how I feel? This isn't easy for me.
I think what's so surprising is how you don't see where we're coming from. For years, we were all terrified of making even a small mistake because you were the first to hold us accountable and almost punish us. And then you do this.
You know you could give her a break for a second. Because I think a lot of this is you all projecting from things unresolved from the past.
That's the problem. She has always been on a pedestal far above any of us. Well, at least in her mind.
But how long are we supposed to treat her like this? I can only speak to my friendship with Chelsea, but I know she has been there for me and supported me through the mistakes I've made.
These are all interesting points. Okay, this one is for Summer. Do you really think having more children will make your marriage better? Kids are not the answer to a happy marriage. If Owen really did cheat, what are you going to do?
You know, with Owen having 4 adult children and grandchildren, and then with our twins Isaiah and Isabel in their senior year, I just had accepted that I was done having babies and I was fine with that. And then last season getting pregnant and being so disappointed before ultimately having the miscarriage, I didn't realize the concept of having more children was even something I considered. But I kind of caught baby fever, and I do feel having another baby would bring Owen and I closer. And he didn't, and wouldn't cheat on me. So, next question.
Pregnant W Awkwardness asks Felicity. Although it's sad what happened during the election, I think you should rethink the consequences of you publicly talking about your friends. Looking back at what happened, is it fair for you to be mad at Chelsea when you did the same and didn't care for its effect on her mental state?
We all make catty comments about one another. That's just how it goes. And comes with the territory. My problem is when you say or do things that are dark and vindictive, and that have repercussions that affect another Sim's career or relationships. And that's what Chelsea did.
Shorty Shell 706 says this. I have a statement and a question for Chelsea. My statement is, Chelsea, I believe you should lose your place on the Real Simwives for such a despicable act of betrayal against the other wives. The question is, will you step down?
Well, I'd like to first thank that viewer for thinking of me, I guess. And I made a mistake. That has been overstated by me. As far as stepping down, that would be a question for you, Patrick. But I don't plan on leaving anytime soon.
Princess QFJ9 LY has a question for both Evelyn and Jane. How does it feel to get a great ending to such a strong season, and are you both still close?
This was obviously a better season for me with everything that happened last season regarding my family and the aftermath of that, but I still dealt with a lot of those things this season as well. But overall, I can agree. And yes, of course we are. We fight like sisters, but I love my Evelyn.
Things didn't feel as heavy for me this season, even though I did experience a lot of changes. And I would have to agree. I love that old bitch Jane.
We have to take a quick break, but we will be right back with the Season 2 reunion of the Real Simwives of Willow Creek.
Fear me or love me, one thing you won't do is ignore me. I've designed my life to perfection, so now it's time.
Welcome back to the Season 2 reunion of the Real Simwives of Willow Creek, this time joined by the 3 friends of the Simwives, Eleanor Lockwood, Beverly Bird, and Miss Gabrielle Bridges. From a shotgun wedding conspiracy to rumors of social climbing and alleged cheating, this trio made quite the impression on our viewers. Ladies, welcome. So let's get right into it. Eleanor, how do you feel about being in a group with these women?
First of all, let's not forget Patrick. I was a friend of last season too. But anyway, I very much enjoy being a part of this group as seen on the show. I'm not a big fan of some of the comments made about me, particularly from Felicity, but I guess I can let it slide.
You're reaching.
And you come off like a jealous bitch, but here we are.
We have received multiple questions for you, Beverly. Would you become a full-time Simwife if given the opportunity?
That's more of a question for you, Patrick. Let's just say that I have had an overall positive experience and am open to whatever.
And another fun question we got is if you have ever been told that your voice sounds similar to Alex McCord from the Real Housewives of New York City on Bravo?
You know, I have actually been told that quite a few times.
I can see that now. Okay, Gab, here's your question. Why such hostility towards Chelsea at the beginning? Could it be you have a history of homewrecking and were projecting onto Chelsea?
History of homewrecking? Wonder where that came from. No, that's definitely not it. Chelsea's reputation of being an ice-cold bitch preceded her, and she needed to be knocked down a few pegs. and still does.
Good thing I don't value the opinion of a sim like you, darling.
I'm not even going to entertain your petty little comments. Karma has already done enough damage on you this season. I don't have to say anything honestly.
I mean, Chelsea, honey. I know you don't want to hear any of this, but what you did by going to SMZ was bad. It's not something that can just be easily forgiven.
And of course you had to meddle in it and be a damn detective scouting out the truth. I think the both of us know that you probably should have been more concerned with why exactly you left Hank the second he lost his job and could no longer afford your lifestyle. And not even 6 months later you're already married to Randolph. That's not suspicious at all, Bev.
It's comical how little you really know about that entire situation. Because of course during the whole ordeal, you didn't reach out to me once. If it's not about you, it doesn't matter. That's how our friendship has always been.
I'm glad that someone else isn't afraid to say it.
You'll be right back up under her ass, Felicity. I give it 2 weeks.
We have got to address something that we received an overwhelming number of questions about. Gabrielle, what really went on with you and Owen?
I think Summer needs to ask her husband. And instead of placing the blame on an innocent sim like myself, she should focus on what might be missing in her marriage.
When you say things like that, you imply that there is something. What kind of would do that? That's all you are. And all you'll ever be. You will never fit in here.
Okay, ladies. Here's a question from Amanda, 2131 for Evelyn. How do you feel seeing the ongoing feud between Gab and Summer? Whose side are you on and why?
It's never fun to see two of your girlfriends fighting and not getting along, but it happens a lot. There are things that both of them have done to each other that I don't agree with. I would like to believe that Gab didn't cross that line with Owen. Because if she did, then she's not a sim that I want in my life. Especially with her knowing what John did to me.
This one is kind of a few questions rolled into one, and it's for Gab. Was it your plan all along to break up the marriage with Owen and Summer so you can have him to yourself? Do you have something against Summer? Why did you want to be the headmistress of Willow Creek Academy? What is your background in the education field?
Well, obviously not. If I wanted Owen, he would be mine. Let's get that straight. And it's pretty obvious that I don't care for Summer. She has been nothing but an entitled and stuck-up bitch to me since the moment we met. And I took the job because Willow Creek Academy is one of the top private schools in Sim Nation with so many great opportunities. And I moved here when I married Liam. And I graduated top of my class at the Foxbury Institute. I have a master's degree in education and taught senior English for multiple years.
This one is for both Chelsea and Eleanor. When the truth came out, did Eleanor stop hanging out with Chelsea and started hanging out with Felicity instead?
That's not exactly how that happened. I just kind of needed a moment away from Chelsea to breathe after finding out she leaked the stories.
She's a fair weather friend. Goes where the wind blows. Epitome of a desperate social climber. Always has been.
Think what you want, Chelsea.
I want to thank Eleanor, Beverly, and Gabrielle for being a part of the season. Thank you, ladies. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only global superstar, the legendary it's Ingrid Price.
This is the power act, baby.
Welcome back to the final part of the Season 2 reunion of the Real Simwives of Willow Creek. This has been one explosive reunion. I want to go around and each of you list the peak of your season, the highest point or favorite moment, and then list your valley, a moment you wished had gone different or something that you regret. Chelsea, you first.
Let's see. A peak for me would definitely be the amazing parties and events and the happy times with the girls for sure. And I guess my valley is obvious. Of course, the leaks.
Very valid. Okay, Summer.
Like Chelsea stated, the good times and the laughs with the girls, and of course specifically my new friendship with Chelsea, is my peak. and anything remotely having to do with Gabrielle is easily my valley. And today there was a lot that was said and worked through, so that is another peak.
I think a lot was accomplished today. All right. Felicity?
Okay. Well, my peak is simply the good fortune and health of all of my family and friends. And being so heartbroken by having my best friend leak stories is my valley. But optimistically, I would like to attempt to move past it.
And I hope the same. Jane, your turn.
Quite an eventful season this was. My peak would have to be just growing in my friendships with these ladies and seeing some kind of resolution to the hard year Allison had faced last year. And anything having to do with my family being presented negatively will always be a valley.
And finally, Miss Evelyn.
My peak would honestly be my divorce. And closing that chapter finally. And my valley. Also my divorce.
Once again, thank you from everyone at the Real Simwives and Evolve Entertainment. I'm Patrick Tarver. Good night.